afternoon, Seawolves. Welcome to the Stony Brook Media Group's news show. I'm Danielle Rodriguez.
And I'm Jeffrey Siciliano.
After 6 weeks of wondering the outcome of this trial, the wait is now over. The Alex Murdaugh trial reached a verdict on Thursday, March 2nd. He was found guilty of killing his wife Maggie and their son Paul on their property.
You may remember the Murdaugh family, wealthy, well-known, and had a big influence on small courtrooms across the state of South Carolina. Alex had dreams of following in his family's footsteps and becoming the region's top prosecutor, but that goal fell short in June 2021 when he shot and killed his wife and son.
Alex Murdaugh tried to make it known to the court that he was innocent. However, the jury saw things a little bit differently.
Guilty, verdict. Verdict, guilty. Verdict, guilty.
Today, March 3rd, Judge Clifton Newman delivered the ruling to the court in Mr. Murdaugh.
You can convince yourself about it, but obviously you have the inability to convince anyone else about that. For the murder of Paul Murdaugh, whom you probably loved so much, I sentence you to prison for murdering him for the rest of your natural life. Those sentences will run consecutive.
In a press conference, Chief of South Carolina Law Enforcement Division Mark Keel felt that it was important to voice his thoughts, especially because Maggie and Paul are not here to voice theirs. Mr. Keel stated, "And today is not the end, just the next step in a long road to justice for every person who has been victimized by Alex Murdaugh," Keel said, referencing the 99 separate charges that Murdaugh still faces from a horde of alleged financial crimes.
As you can see, this is just the tip of all the wrongdoings Alex has been involved in, and we will keep you updated in this developing story.
February, we celebrated Black History Month, paying tribute to all Black people and their achievements throughout the years. From abolition to the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, Black Americans have and continue to make change. Stony Brook University is notable for its desire for diversity. Here on campus, students celebrated by attending different events like the spoken word event at the beginning of February and the closing ceremony last Tuesday. But the celebration doesn't end on February 28th. There are multiple ways to support Black Americans in our day-to-day life. Be sure to check out podcasts with Black hosts, books by Black authors, as well as Black-owned businesses.
Happy National Women's Month, Seawolves. In 1987, Congress was petitioned by the National Women's History Project and later passed legislation dedicating the month of March to women everywhere. This month stems from International Women's Day, which will take place on March 8th. Here at Stony Brook University, the month was kicked off with an opening program in the SAC featuring women in the STEM field. If you missed out on that, fear not, there are many more events to come. Tomorrow, on Saturday, March 4th, there will also be a Zoom dedicated to celebrating women in STEM. In order to access this event and future ones, visit the Stony Brook Women's History Month website. This month, take a moment to recognize the trailblazers, those who came before you, those who fought for the rights you have today, and those who are still working tirelessly for these rights. As we do this, it is important to remember that the rights that women don't have. In 2022, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, taking away federal protection of reproductive rights, giving the power back to the states. Let this month remind us of the fight ahead while acknowledging all we have accomplished.
We're taking a look at earthquake efforts a few weeks after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Turkey and Syria. Andrew Candio reports.
On February 6, 2023, a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake and a series of strong tremors and aftershocks devastated southeast Turkey and northwest Syria. The combined Turkey and Syria death toll recently surpassed 50,000, with tens of thousands being injured and displaced. 2 weeks later, on February 20th, 2023, an additional 6.3 magnitude earthquake hit southern Turkey, causing additional deaths and injuries. Teams of search and rescue personnel from all around the world are now primarily focusing on recovery activities after searching desperately for new survivors for almost 2 weeks. According to reports, at least 47,000 buildings have been demolished or damaged, and there are over 87,000 injured. Let's hear Stony Brook students' thoughts on the devastating earthquake.
So as the Turkish Student American Association, our first goal was to let everyone know about what happened and create awareness. So what we first started doing was to start a clothing drive because that's what they needed immediately. All the families that lost their homes were living outside, so they needed a lot of winter clothes. So we started a clothing drive, and we collected clothing, sanitary products, shoes, boots from all the students at Stony Brook. That way we could create also awareness about what was going on, because most people don't really know what was happening.
So when the earthquake happened, of course it was a sudden earthquake, no one knew about it. And seeing that happen in my own country hurt a lot of people. It didn't hurt my own family, but I know people that lost the whole family, lost their siblings and the siblings' family. It's really heartbreaking to see everyone going through this, because there are millions, approximately 13 million people got affected from this.
When I do go visit Syria, you see bullets all over buildings, and now the earthquake, not only knocking down these buildings, but refugee camps as well, is very devastating to hear, because people genuinely have nowhere to live. Electricity also runs 2 to 3 hours every single day. Government shuts it off whenever they want to.
With thousands of buildings collapsing, leaving countless people exposed to unforgiving conditions, schools and hospitals have been destroyed. Millions of people around the world are helping out in an effort to assist them. The Turkish American Student Association has started various projects to raise awareness and help those back home. See what the Stony Brook students are doing to assist the earthquake victims.
So as a Turkish American Student Association club, we started a GoFundMe for the people that got affected from earthquake. The GoFundMe link is on our Instagram website. So the Instagram website is Stony Brook TASA, Stony Brook TASA. Anyone can donate money from there. The money all goes to non-profit organization that is really trustable in Turkey.
Here we started a GoFundMe. We raised about, I think, a little over $7,000. We're doing what we can, sending money, sending clothes, sending medications, hygiene products. We're doing everything we can, but just knowing that there are people still without homes, shelter, food, it really does hurt to walk around with the privileges that we have.
Today we did a flower vigil, so we sold roses for $5 and each for $5, and the whole money goes to donation, the GoFundMe link that we created.
I think you'll see what's one thing that the Turkish community does greatest. You know, when times like this happen, they set aside the differences, and all they do is they just cooperate, work with each other. If someone needs something, they're there. Doesn't matter what they've done in the past. Doesn't matter what they've done to you, what you've done to them. If something happens, they're there for you, you're there for them, no matter what.
With the catastrophic earthquake, students are bringing awareness to the disaster, which has displaced millions of people. Any monetary donations would be crucial in assisting Turkey and Syria, as sending money to relief groups would be the best way to help victims of the earthquake. Cash makes it possible for Turkey and Syria to move more quickly, and for those assisting these communities to be flexible in response to their needs. For Stony Brook Media Group, I'm Andrew Candio.
On Monday, President Mari McInnes held a press conference with campus media organizations including The Press, The Statesman, and Black World. She spent an hour answering questions about what's going on here at Stony Brook. One topic that was brought up was tuition, referencing the announcement by Governor Kathy Hochul about a 30% increase. She goes over the process that goes into determining tuition costs.
So the governor's made a proposal. There will be budgets that come out of the Assembly and the Senate. And then those three entities together, the executive, the Assembly, and the Senate, get together and negotiate a final state budget. And so not until there's a final state budget do we actually know whether there will be a tuition increase, and if so, of what amount.
President McInnes also responded to the allegations against Culinart, the campus food provider, for committing fraud. The allegations are brought to light through an article by The Statesman, the school newspaper. As it is an ongoing investigation, she was not able to speak much on the actions being taken.
But I want you all to know that we too are very concerned and very troubled by the allegations that have been brought forward, and we will do everything we can to support this investigation being thorough.
The president spoke on other topics such as the new proposed parking plan and campus security. After the recent deadly shooting at Michigan State University, students have raised concerns about safety here at Stony Brook. Here's what President McInnes had to say.
We have a really excellent and well-prepared both police department, ready responses. We do drills on these kinds of activities all the time. So I feel confident in that kind of preparation that you can do. We have plans in place so that we would know that there would be people going to you, getting food to you. Like, we've really used each one of these incidents to continue doing more scenario planning and to make sure that we're doing everything we can, not only to have the safest possible campus community, but to cope if we have a crisis and a tragedy on that scale.
In a conversation with Chief Security Officer Larry Zacharies, our reporter Lauren Canavan learned more about safety resources available to students.
You mentioned a little bit earlier the programs that are in place for students to take advantage of. Just a little over a week ago, there was a program that run by the University Police for active shooter awareness. Would you be able to describe a little bit like how a program like that works and what sorts of programs should students look to, in the coming weeks or in the future to take advantage of and just gain knowledge about this topic?
Sure. So based on responses that we've gotten even prior to MSU, unfortunately, there's a litany of incidents we can point to. On a monthly basis, our community relations team has what they call an active shooter open forum. That's scheduled. It's on the website. It's available. Anybody can show up. And they'll go through what we call, the run, hide, fight approach to sort of the vernacularly used nationally. It's based on a Department of Homeland Security curriculum that's sort of generally accepted practice. In addition, there's an ability to schedule specific classes with them. So whether it's a club or an organization, whether it's a particular residence hall, whether it's a dean, a college, a school, they will proactively go out and schedule those. And those, the cadence with which those happen have been a product of feedback that we've gotten over the years from the other incidents. Our Citizens Police Academy is something we're proud of and we always talk about. While we can only accept an identified number of students every semester, there is a group, we're now in our fifth or sixth year, I'd have to look back exactly, but that's a group of mostly students, but it's open to others. It's a 7-week curriculum and there's a significant portion of it related to active shooter preparedness. And then we do tie in the additional pieces around bleeding control, first aid, and other things that are unfortunate skills that are necessary when involved in an active shooter incident, as someone who would be in the community either trying to get away from or sheltering in place while the police respond.
Got it. Thank you so much for this conversation. I think this is really valuable and will put a lot of minds at ease, both for students and staff and even employees all across the university. So thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you again for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. And one other thing I would add is another program we've had for a while and that we are actively promoting to our students is our SB Guardian program. And they can find out more information, go to stonybrook.edu/SB Guardian. And this is it's a personal safety device. It's an app that's free to download, both with an active security timer, precautionary timer that you can use and connect to the police automatically, or a panic mode, which automatically connects you to the police department, gives your location and information about the user. So we encourage all students, faculty, and staff to check it out and sign up.
Certainly. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you in the studio.
In some global news, the Latin Grammys will be leaving the United States for the very first time. The awards ceremony will be held in Andalusia, a province in southern Spain. The award show is expected to be held in November of 2023. The date or the city has not yet been announced, but it is likely that the Grammys will be held in Seville, Granada, Cordoba, or Malaga, which are popular tourist destinations in the Andalusia region. Rosalía is the most recent winner of the coveted Best Album Award, which she won from her album Motomami. That's so exciting. Leaving America for the first time to celebrate the Latin Grammy Awards, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And it's also a great win for women.
Especially Latin women. On this day, 110 years ago, women gathered in Washington, D.C., calling on the government to amend the Constitution and guarantee them the right to vote. The 1913 Women's Suffrage Parade marked the first national event for the suffrage movement.
The National American Woman Suffrage Association organized a march with over 5,000 women, 20 parade floats, 9 bands, and 4 mounted brigades. Organizers strategically chose to hold the event before President-elect Woodrow Wilson's inauguration.
The Women's Suffrage Parade is thought to have sparked new waves of hope and inspiration for women's rights nationwide.
From me, Jeffrey Siciliano.
And Daniela Rodriguez, have a wonderful weekend, Seawolves.